The game goes down yet again. Live streams for the new announcements of new content coming in August, as well as a whole plethora of other things. Welcome to Friday's MCN. So today is the day of live stream of MCOC at 9 AM PT time for those that are going to be there. We'll be doing reactions, breakdowns, and coverage of what Kabam are announcing, and as well the impact on you, the player, which of course that's the most important thing. What's coming in that could impact you, good or bad, or maybe mystery things, because not knowing too much about the Realm event, the MCC Realm event, the Summoners Fest Realm event, not knowing quite so much about some of the other modes that Kabam have put in and the ways and means in order to do them, means that things are gonna happen, whether they're good or bad. There are going to be some exciting things. I'm excited to learn more about Cassandra Nova, Solvarch. I'm also excited to learn about Mr. Knight and the 9 champion updates. How I'm going to be able to cover all of that in a weekend, I don't know, because I have other things I want to achieve personally. Statcast relics are going to be a very important thing to cover, and the impact of those, the acquisition, that is probably going to be the main thing we need to take away from whatever's going to be announced on today. Is going to be, how do you obtain statcast relics? Are they going to be expensive via means of units? Is there going to be a spender's option, so to speak, for it? And even more exciting roadmap updates. That again, I'm excited for. Although I've been here before, where I've been excited for something, and then July comes and I've exited out of it in a way that I don't think has been, well, it's been relatively healthy, but I have felt a little bit unhealthy with my mental load as a result of what Kabam have laid on in July, based on the good, the bad, the ugly, and the extensive amount of content that they've put out. But on the plus side, at least Twitch drops it back, and as well, with Summoners Fest Realm event points. Nothing about the compensation for the points that we needed. FYI, we've been giving out over 20,000 points of free Summoners Fest Realm event points, but we haven't heard much when it comes to the Twitch drop side of things. But in any case, let's move on. The next story is compensation. Compensation's great to see. It's great to have the 10,000 extra Summoners Fest points. Very unusual for 150 units. The significance around this is that Kabam very rarely give out units. They must have something like a time bracket system. The longer the game is put down for whatever reason or is not performing well enough, they kind of escalate the type of compensation package they give out. But this was actually very, very good in the grand scheme of things. You know, 1 level 2 Alliance Raid Revive, 5 level 5 Alliance War Health Potions, well, again with gold, 3 energy refills, that's nice. That's 90 units, 3 level 2 revives, 120 units of value, and 5 level 5 health potions. Okay. The biggest thing about this is the dimensional arcade tickets. For a lot of non-spending players, this is great because you didn't have to spend to acquire them. Of course, if you lost your tokens as a result, and don't overstack your tokens, because I think if you go over 3, because 3 is the max you can hold, it doesn't stack. I think that yesterday I had saved 1 token back because I was going to make some kind of special type of video, and if for whatever reason when I turned up today it said 3 of 3, which means that it wasn't 4 and it should have been 4. So you might lose them if you stack them on, so it's always best to be proactive on a daily basis for it. But the dimensional arcade tickets are very nice to have and a nice little extra addition, and it's handy for the greater good when it comes to doing Doom Cycle. And again, to reiterate for those that don't like it, you're allowed to not like something, absolutely 100%. But do you want to pass up on the units? Those units that I'm putting back in again, I am stacking them on nicely. You know, those are great little additions. So make sure to at least kind of like do it, do the mode, shatter mode, and of course the story mode. But it's certainly nice to go and grab and exchange those tickets, which I did my 5 earlier from my free compensation, and now I'm adding in my further 3 at a later date to go and do some further runs, which I'm looking forward to doing and kind of smashing out that mode. Also, if you see my teamwork mastery video, you'll know about the implication of boosting up your teamwork side of things to kind of help you out with Doom Cycle to make it a bit more palatable. And also something I need to consider, and we all need to consider, is what the impact will be on Friday, so today, with the live stream, and what we're going to learn about the Summoners Fest, because the free points that we keep getting, and we got 10,000 extra points, does mean that it propels us up a bit further. Now, I've still got stuff to do, but I have had a lot of things on, and mainly wanted to do my own thing. Kabam kind of like lumbered me in to do something I have to, like they want me to do, but I wanted to achieve that 3 rank 4-7 stars. That was my personal goal, to achieve that. And I did have to sacrifice a lot of Battlegrounds based grinding, which I now have to extensively catch up on. So if you see me floating around Vibranium, hi, I've got to farm points. I've really got to farm some more points, and also do my objectives, and as well get into Gladiator Circuit. But there's also only so much you can do as a player. Really, it's been very grindy. We'll talk about that topic in another story, and same sentiment you as players are experiencing as well. However, Summoners Fest, sorry, to get to the point of the Realm event, implications of the Summoners Fest points compensation, the impact to what this means is we know we can get 300k. Kabam Crash did not explain to what end a free-to-play player can farm the value that is required. And let's say theoretically 285,000 points is possible. Well, now, because there was 2 lots of compensation at 10k a piece, meaning 20k, it meant that players can farm up to 320k for free. But there could be further implications as well with that, because we know about 16k of that is actually spenders. Spenders could get 16k points. So there's still a lot of things unknown about this. Now, I'm not going to get wrapped up on this. This is why I only cover Summoners Fest in around about a weekly fashion, because it can be quite stressful, it can be quite frustrating, and it can be quite annoying. But we're going to leave it right there. So where do you think the extra points are coming in from? Is it going to be those objectives, which we've seen unspecified as the amount of volume you get? Yes, we know that you get about, what, 5k, isn't it, per the August objectives. There you go, right at the bottom there, complete an August objective for 5k. Well, how many of those do you get? Because we're in deficit of some. Anyway, what are your thoughts around Summoners Fest? Let's go to the next story, which is still the mystery around pings. There might be some questions this week, next week, and of course going into the final weeks about pings. There's an objective at the moment for the Future Foundation. These pings will send us to somewhere in MCOC to go and farm, or not, well, yeah, farm, and also fight a particular champion to get ourselves something nice as a result. But we not know where that is. And as well, the fights and Alliance Quest, or Alliance Quest raids, Alliance Quest raids isn't giving you that much of an opportunity to get this week done, because we really got to wait for Alliance Quest, or those that are able to do Alliance Quest now, providing there might be someone out there that's able to do it, you might have had access to get this final Invisible Woman 2 objective done. But we've got several weeks still to have. There's definitely been questions, and I've seen a thread which is definitely discussing this particular point. This one actually right here, where players are kind of like, well, what's the point of these particular types of pings? It's a long game. You and Kabam are playing the long game with this particular mode to get these done. You have to wait another 2 weeks to get to the end period of this, and that's when we'll find out where we've got to go, and also what we get as a result, which could be some nice stuff, and of course is the missing Mysterium. I talked about this ages ago. The missing Mysterium for this month is largely found in the Future Foundation, but that's still something for a later date. The final topic, or final bit of coverage that I want to bring in from a community standpoint, so you, me, the community, and discussion is, where do you feel about how much the load is in game? And I'm talking load when it comes to like stuff to do. Kabam always reiterate, and I know there will be people out there that say like, you don't have to do everything. FOMO has got worse over the last year. It's got a lot worse, especially I think when the Deathless Champions started to be like put into game. That really was getting worse, and some of the key champions to get meta champions, chase rewards, chase metas, currencies, Radiance. It's definitely felt like we are getting back to the bad times of MCOC, the really grindy times. but the stress load, more so for casual players and as well for non-spending casual players, non-spending players in general, are definitely finding this kind of like needing to catch up. And I had to set a big chunk aside in the last few weeks to farm more units, to get a deal, to get me more rank 4 7 stars, but also time allocation to do things as well as do Actor 9.2. Granted, I left one fight, which was the Lotan fight, for last to do. However, it's the other stuff. It's like what is said here by Andy Knight, which is, you know, Fantastic Force Recruitment. We've had the Doom Cycle. We've had Shattered Essence. You know, we've had research grants. There are so many other things that I've missed off. Radiance, of course, being one of them, a key kind of farming material. But the endeavor to do a lot of this stuff is, do you have to say, I can't do everything and just go, man, this is just stressing me out? But is Kabam dangling the carrot? And we use that as an example of, well, you feel like you have to do it because there's something at the end of it you need to achieve. I couldn't just not do Incursions, Saga Incursions. I could not do Alliance Wars Showcase because I had tier 7 basics. And do I, as a Valiant player and Valiant player that wants to keep up as a non-spending player, do I say, no, don't do that? Because that's how it got me a rank 4 7 star. Apart from Wheel of Fate, I haven't missed out on a lot of these kind of pieces of content that Kabam have put our way. But it has been scary to feel like I've had to do it to keep up. But it's just not about me, and it is about other people as well. As much as maybe people don't like agree with certain points, like this is a relevant point as well, because you could be on the other end of the spectrum. You have to think in terms of the players who have literally completed every piece of content possible, all endgame content. They have nothing to do other than Wheel of Fate, Battlegrounds monthly, and the new mode, and most probably don't want to do Wheel of Fate because it's terrible. And it's very exclusive as opposed to inclusive. Unless you spend a lot of units and maybe a lot of money to get those units in order to get selectors, to get specific type of champions, to make that content, again, the word of today, palatable. In any case, I leave it over to you to what your thoughts are on the matter. And maybe this month I've been somewhat of a problem with looking at the FOMO side of things and going, do you know what? I must kind of catch up. I must get this. And maybe in the future it's not the case. Maybe I can focus on things like unit farming for Cyber Weekend deals or Banquet Event 2025, which is something that I'm looking forward to this year. Those two things, because I'll be able to get specific champions that I want to get as more trickier defenders to the future of a Battlegrounds deck. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that in MCOC because new champions get added in. New counters need to be grabbed in order to defeat the defenders of old, new defenders, new tricky defenders, new attackers. There's a lot more. Chase items, chase metas. There'll probably be some kind of like new endgame or Everest piece of content to do towards the end of the year. Or Kabam will look at monthly events. And maybe that's the way that things will go. Either way, Crucible up next month. So that's something I guess that's maybe it'll be a bit more calmer next month, as in August this month. And maybe I'll feel a bit differently. But what's everyone's thoughts about their kind of like stress levels with trying to get stuff done, and especially before new things come out? Like I've just 100%ed 9.2. Oh, 9.3 is just around the corner. Anyway, your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching and supporting the MCN as you normally do, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.